What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another live duo review. And today I'm once again joined by a good friend of mine, Nick Lowe of Maxwell Starr's Beer Reviews. Link in the description box to Nick's channel. But Nick, welcome back. How long has it been since you've been on this channel? Has it been like 5 days? Maybe a week?
I don't think it's... Yeah, I think it's been, what, Friday? We did the...
6 days.
The Abyss from Spindrift there not even a week ago, so it's been 6 days. And even then, it was like last night. I haven't talked to you since like
20 hours ago. Yeah, it's been a long time. But Nick's joining me today for this review because he just so happened to get the same beer I did. Shoutouts in a moment. But the beer we're going to be reviewing today comes from the Bellwoods Brewery, and they're of Toronto, Ontario, Canada. And this is their Satan's Broadsword. So this is what they're calling a spiced Imperial Stout that is brewed with Ancho chili peppers, Dulce de Leche, and lactose. Dulce de Leche. It comes in at 9.9% alcohol by volume. No IBUs listed. And neither of our bottles have bottle on dates because Bellwoods typically doesn't do that. But I do know this beer was released late October of last year. So don't know the exact bottle on date, but let's just say this is just under 10 months old. So it's an aged beer.
Yeah, I looked at the history thing on Untappd of this afternoon, and I think it was like around October 27th was when people started posting their check-ins for this beer. So I'm guessing that's around the time that it came out, late October.
Which, full disclosure, Nick has not had this beer before, but I have, and I actually I checked it in on October 27th. I had it at a bottle share though. I only had like 3 or 4 ounces, but I remember this beer having a decent chili heat to it. But a lot of confectionery sugar was going on in this one, a huge confectionery sweetness. I did say in my Untappd check-in that I think this would age well, but it was very disjointed at the time. Like the flavors didn't play off one another. That said, there was a lot of sweetness then. So 10 months later, we're going to see. Hopefully it's not too sweet for us because that would be unfortunate. But anyway, we want to give a couple shout outs. First and foremost, I want to shout out my buddy Sean for hooking me up with this bottle. Thank you very much. And Nick, who do you have to thank for this bottle?
Well, I'm going to shout out the ultimate Dulce de Leche and shout out Greg for sending me this. Greg Bielaski from Tobico of sending me this bottle when we did, when he sent me a bottle of the Founders CBS to do on Beer Analysis 101 every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern. And cheap plug. But yeah, he sent me this as part of the beer trade, and it wasn't really a trade considering I paid for everything, including the shipping.
Yeah, we don't even thank you, Greg, for Greg's inching closer and closer.
I would say thank you for lifting a finger and then going more than 5 minutes out of the way to your nearest LCBO.
That's a big deal for him.
That is a big deal.
Big deal. He's inching closer and closer to getting on the channel, but here's the thing: never going to happen. Sorry, Greg. But we really do appreciate Greg and Sean hooking us up because without this beer, we would not be doing this duo review. So thank you very much, guys. Truly do appreciate it. We're going to crack this open now and pour it in a glass. See what we got going on. Some carbonation. Uh-oh. It's a rising, baby. It's rising. It's rising.
Don't say it's infected. Holy shit, that's syrup.
Yeah, that is crazy thick.
Wow. That is thick.
Yeah, so half of a hashtag proper glassware. I'm using the Bring Us Your Dead glass from Bellwoods. It's a Bellwoods glass, but it's not proper glassware because they don't have proper glassware for this beer.
No, whatever. I'm just using a Pit Caribou Teku that I got up in Quebec about 2 weeks ago.
My head has this. So this pours out like molasses, motor oil, whatever. Super deep, dark, opaque black, jet black color. Had about a finger of a... What color is your head? Because I don't have one anymore here.
I didn't really get much carbonation whatsoever. It's almost looking like Coca-Cola in the glass.
Yeah, it's like
without the like flat Coke almost.
That's a good way to describe it, like flat Coke. Yeah, I mean it plays the role of an Imperial Stout, sans the head. So let's get a nose on it. That smells super fucking crazy sweet. Oh my god. Wow.
Sweet. Maybe a hit of like a lemon tartness. I hope not.
No, I'm getting a little bit of like citrus. We're trying to be professional here, Nick. Yeah, no. Like not. I wouldn't even suggest like generic citrusy tartness. Like mine's almost come off more like a lime, but hopefully it's not infected. Man, I just hope not. There is that chili though. The ancho chilies are there. There's a little nice kick of the pepper there.
That might be what I'm getting. It's like almost like it's all half metallic, half peppery. It just
has an earthiness to it from the pepper for me. Otherwise, there's just loads of confectionery sweetness, like from that Dulce de Leche, like huge caramel toffee, like caramelized sugar sweetness. A little bit of like milk chocolate. It's all like the sweeter chocolates, just the sweeter everything. It's just very sweet in the nose, like way sweeter than I remember it.
Yeah, no, I wish I could say I'm getting the sweetness that you're getting out of the aroma, but I'm not actually getting a huge aroma off the top of this thing. Maybe it's just the low carbonation in the glass I chose or something.
Is yours basement room temperature or cellar temperature, I should say?
Cellar temperature, but I've had it in the fridge for the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, same here. Mine's been out of the fridge for well over an hour, so it's room temperature now. But
oh well, yeah, well mine's been out of the fridge since I got home, so half an hour ago.
Okay, so maybe, I don't know. I'm getting a lot of sweetness, but I am getting the pepper. Has a bit of an earthiness, like you're saying, a little bit of like just citrusy,
like a smoky pepper.
It's almost like, you know what, a little bit of like smokiness, but it's reminding me of like an acidic coffee more so than like the citrusy tartness. Now that I'm thinking, like when you get an acidic coffee note in a beer, kind of playing that sort of role.
Yeah.
So then
it's almost like the tannicness of a coffee bean or something.
Yeah. But
like an espresso bitterness.
It's for me, it's quite complex, but it's not smelling like all that inviting, honestly.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm getting a little bit of spice to the nose, a little bit of copper coin, a little bit of chocolate. It's not hugely sweet to the nose. Maybe mine's just too cold. I don't know.
Maybe.
Sorry to Coors like this up.
Or maybe we have different palates, and that's how this works.
Yeah, maybe just my nose is plugged or something.
No, mine is. Right. I have a little bit of like a sinus thing going on, so I could just be way off, which I usually am because my reviews are terrible. But anyway, let's get it down the hatch, as you would say. Shout out to Nick.
Sure. Cheers.
Wow, I'll tell you what. If Paul drank this, if Paul drank this and said this was thin, I might have to powerbomb him through a table. If I
we'd have to fucking slap him. Not that you wouldn't want to slap Paul anyway. It's just
no. This has this is like full body. It is syrupy. It is thick, and despite the lack of, I actually am welcoming the lack of carbonation a bit. I think it adds like the little bit of softness and smoothness that I prefer in a bigger stout. I would like maybe a little bit of more carbonation. It is undercarbonated at this point, but I can deal with it.
But yeah, like where you're saying it was like syrupy, it's definitely syrupy. It's almost like thick enough that you could pour this on your ice cream or something as a chocolate syrup. It's big chocolate. It's got dark chocolate, roasted coffee. You get a little bit of that, like you were saying, like the espresso bitterness, that acidic bitterness in the back from coffee like bitterness. I'm getting a nice drying pepper, like the hot peppers, but it's very drying almost, and in the back of the palate,
back of the throat. Yes, it's almost like if you ate like I'm not gonna say like the habanero level, but like when you eat like a good spicy pepper and it kind of lingers in the back throat, take that but dial it back about 75%. It's very so slight. It's not even a burn like you said. It's just kind of a dryness.
Like I don't think Ancho chilies are that spicy. They're just a middle of the road spice, but they're tasty obviously, but they're not like habanero level.
I am getting I totally agree. They're way down from habaneros, but I do get a lot of the chocolate. You're saying mix of like milk chocolate, dark chocolate. Doesn't really borderline like baker's chocolate or semi-sweet. It's more sweet. It's like if you've ever had like Hershey's dark chocolate before that has more sugar in it than an actual like good dark chocolate bar would have. That lactose and that Dulce de Leche, adding caramel for me and toffee, like sweeter confectionery caramelized sugar notes, dude, almost like brown sugar things going on. Here's the thing. I wouldn't say it's crazy sweet. I mean, it's sweet. Don't get me wrong. This is a dessert beer in every sense. But it's not too sweet to make it palatable, at least for me.
Yeah, I mean, if you were saying it was too sweet before, I wouldn't call this unbearably sweet. This is really nice. And you do get, like you were saying, the Dulce de Leche, whatever you pronounce that shit. Yeah. You do kind of get that, like one thing I would say it's really similar to is like creme brulee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, that's a good, actually a good note there. Yeah, that has like the caramelized sugar thing going on.
Exactly.
I will say, while there isn't bitterness in the true sense of like being bitter, that drying pepper note kind of balances the beer a little bit, because if you didn't have that, it would just be sweet throughout the palate. There wouldn't be that dry finish. There wouldn't be that little slight spice kick or any of that, I think, acidic, almost like a coffee note. So that is balancing out this beer for me to not make it as sweet as it possibly could be.
And I think it kind of bridges the gap, like from being sweet and on the front. And I almost think if that hot pepper wasn't there, it might be a little. You might pick up way more of the roasted finish. Almost too much. It's just right. It's like a ramp.
I agree.
Ramp of flavors, baby.
Baby, it's like a ramp of flavors in mid-80s wrestling, baby. I don't know what that means. Ric Flair. I just want to think Ric Flair. We're going to go to comments because we have some people in here. So Craig from Kent Beer Review says, hey, people. We have names, Craig. We do. But what's up, buddy? Brandon Garrett says, looks like motor oil, LOL. LOL. Yes, it does. It looked like blackstrap molasses, as Terry K from Beer Goggles Reviews used to say all the time. Rod says, cheers, guys. Cheers, Rod. Paul shows up from PA Reviews. Says, yo, brother. Is that Hogan? Brother. Rod says, that is pretty thick. Paul continues with, I like them thick. Room temperature or nothing, so too cold. Yeah, I mean, Nick effed up on this one. He's drinking his ice cold. Mine is room temperature because it's been on the fridge.
Ice cold.
No, I know. Just crap. Mine's been on the fridge for well over an hour, so it's been room temperature for a while.
Yeah, probably a little bit below cellar temperature. Is probably close to like 8 degrees, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, mine's probably in like the 65, 70 range at
probably
this point.
Too cold to get full. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, whatever. It tastes good, right? Yeah, Rod says, LOL, laughing at Paul. Paul says Chipotle, like Chipotle peppers, not the actual restaurant. Yeah, I mean, the Ancho chili in here has a character that is reminiscent of like a, slight, like a step up from a jalapeno, which, that's what Chipotles are, jalapenos roasted, right? But it's really welcoming. I think if you had a hotter pepper in here, it might be a bit too much, honestly.
Yeah, because looking it up, an Ancho chili is kind of like a Chipotle version. Like a Chipotle is a dried, ripe jalapeno pepper. Okay. This is a poblano pepper.
Okay,
but it's dried, so it's kind of like Chipotle smoke, but it's a poblano instead of a jalapeno.
Makes
poblanos
sense.
are kind of lower on the spice scale than jalapenos are.
It's adding more like character from the pepper itself as opposed to any spice note, which I think is cool.
Paul you still get the kick.
No, you do, but it's a nice subdued one, right? It works well. Paul says motor oil is a bit thin. LOL. And then Brandon Garrett says, take a drink. LOL. We're probably talking too much about the nose, but we did. We eventually got there. Paul says, I'll be the judge of that, good sir, if it's too thin. No, you won't, because this beer came out 10 months ago. No more bottles to be had unless you have Greg hoarding them in his basement or some crap. Who knows? Rod says, thinking Paul may like being slapped. LOL.
He might.
Yeah. Paul says, I haven't been power bobbed through a table in years. Maybe we can fix that. And then Rain Air Parade says something inappropriate. I can't read that, Rain Air Parade. He said Paul is very kinky. Let's just say that. They have a little bit of a back and forth here. Then Paul says, can you hook me up with one, Joe? I cannot. I mean, like I said, they no longer in production. Maybe they'll brew it again. Maybe they won't. I do remember from the Untapped ratings, it was like in the 3.7 range, 3.8 range. So not that well received based on, I mean, it's decent rating, but like Bellwoods beers are usually 4 and above for the good ones. So Brandon Garrett said, is the lactose adding some acidity or a thicker mouthfeel? The lactose just adding a little bit of like a creaminess to the mouthfeel for me, and a little bit of like, I don't want to say vanilla tones or edges, but like, just like a sweeter, slightly
I would say it's enough to cause like a dairy acidity, like you would get drinking a glass of milk or something. It's not that much.
No, it's not. It's I'm pretty sure the acidity in this one is coming from the pepper itself almost, or I can't remember. There's no coffee in here, so there's
hardly any acidity to speak of in this thing. It's just
it's just very slight,
well blended.
Mm-hmm. And then Paul says, I want one by name alone. He's never had lactose add acidity. Interesting. And then Rain on Your Parade says, nice beer analysis 101, Nick, and everyone with the Rochefort 10. So shout out to you.
Thanks,
and
man.
then Taku Murray Ewert, the piece of crap, says, F all this, single man hangout loser. Oh crap, Nick is here. Joe is doing all the talking. My bad. I'm reading comments. Jesus. Anyway, Ewert's a piece of crap. Anyway, so final thoughts, rating out of 5, Nick. What do you got?
That's actually really nice, and I'm glad that Greg, saw it out of his way to get me a bottle of this. I think he was drinking it on the panel one night or something on an after chat.
Yeah, I think so.
And I'm like, oh man, that actually sounds really good. And he said, well, I got another one, and you want it? I'm like, okay. And I forget exactly how much it was. Wasn't it like $17 or some crazy crap?
I don't know if it was
I forget exactly. I know it wasn't cheap.
Maybe, but I doubt it. Let's hope not.
Yeah. Anyway, moving along from there, I think it's well made, well blended. I wish I got more out of the smell rather than the kind of like the dirty lemony metal, but maybe as I drink it, now more of the caramel and the chocolate's coming up to the nose. The flavor is amazing. I think what do you do your rating system? Is it a 10 or a 5? You do it at a 5, just my man. I would give that a 4.5. That is really nice.
Wow. That's a big rating from Nick. Nick knows that, when he's breaking 4.5, things are popping off in a positive direction.
Well, I'm enjoying popping this one off. There you go.
Unbelievable. Greg Jr. I can't. I maybe don't like it as much as you. I gave it a 4 originally on Untapped Fresh. I think this aged a bit better than that. I'd go 4.25 out of 5.
All right, sure.
I will say that sweetness is building up a little bit for me on the palate. I'm glad this isn't like a 22 ounce or a 650 mil bottle. It is 500 mils. That's I could even do this in 12 ounce, 330. What is it? 341s. I got or 355s. Fucking milliliters. I can't do the math. But as it is, I pretty much enjoy it almost on the level that you do. I like the confectionery sweetness, the brown sugar, the caramel, the toffee. I do like that. The pepper is cutting the sweetness to add a nice balance to it. And one thing we didn't talk about, 9.9%, no alcohol stringency or burn.
Oh, yeah. There's nothing.
None. This is a beer that Chris from on the 10th could easily drink, and I don't think he would say it has a burn because it has a pepper burn maybe for him, but not an actual.
Yeah, you're getting the warming from the building, and as you drink it, you get like a building, a little bit of spice, but it never becomes overpowering. It's just nice. If you love spicy beers, that's a great way to go. And one of the things I really noticed about a lot of beers that have lactose in it often come across as not only just too sweet, but it's almost got this artificial sweetness, kind of a sweetener kind of bitterness in the back as well. There's not a lot of that here. I get a little bit of it, not a lot, and I'm enjoying it that way.
Yeah. I mean, the lactose really for me isn't doing a whole lot, which is nice other than just a little bit of creaminess in the mouthfeel. But I'm glad, like you were saying about the chili, that it's very restrained because it seems like after you take a sip, it might start to build, but it just never does. It kind of just fizzles out at a certain point. That's, I think, very manageable no matter what your level of tolerance for heat is when it comes to spicy foods. But yeah, I'd give it a 4.25. Nick gave it a 4.5. So pretty good ratings for us. I'm glad that this aged well because I was a bit nervous about this one just because of all the, the sweetness in this with the Dulce de Leche and the lactose and everything, but it did pretty good. What's up, Petey? My cat's here. He's saying hello to everyone. But so we'll do one more look at comments here. We don't have any more. Let's see. Ewert says only a 4.25. Joe apparently hates Bellwoods. Yes, I do. I hate them. Apparently, if you give them under a 4 or 5, you're on the shit list. But yeah, so 9 people watching now. I apologize to all of them for our fantastic content. That's not really fantastic. But I appreciate everybody stopping by in the comments. We had Paul, Brandon, Craig, Rod, and Raining Air Parade, and then some guy named Teku Murray. I'm not really familiar with him at all. But he's probably a piece of crap.
Over my life.
Yeah, he's probably a big piece of crap.
And I want to say something, Joe. Don't sell yourself short. You do a great job of doing this thing here. You've done it for years. You've done it for years and years before you actually opened up your own channel.
That's true. I did. It's still terrible. Come on, let's not get
but think about where the bar is in this world too. You're way above it, even if you're not that great.
Whenever I think of beer tubing and being online and doing reviews and stuff, I think it always could be worse. I could be you. And it makes me happy against them, But anyway, appreciate
everyone. Started a channel before Greg did.
Yeah. well, Greg's never going to start a channel, and that's good for all of us because he doesn't need one. But appreciate everybody stopping by in the comments, everybody that watches this after the fact, and I appreciate both Greg and Sean once again sending us or giving us these beers because without them couldn't do this review. And last but not least, I want to thank Nick for another dual beer review. Nick and I plan to do more down the line of beers that, because him being in New Brunswick and me being in New York, we don't get a lot of the same beers, and a lot of the beers we can get, we already do on Beer Analysis 101 because that's kind of how it goes. But if we can get beers that only him and I can get, we'll definitely do some more duo reviews because they're a lot of fun and I enjoy them anyway. So until the next one, I guess, cheers everybody, and there should be more duo and maybe potentially trio reviews coming down the pipeline.
Nice. So. Yeah, well, thanks for having me on, Joe, by the way. I just want to say that before we finish here. I always love coming on with you or doing a duo review with you.
My pleasure, Nick. The pleasure is all mine, good sir. And until next one, see you guys.